Welcome to Missed Opportunities for Good, the podcast where we open up the space to have conversations about trends and campaigns at the intersection of marketing, advertising, and impact.
Hi, I'm Alana.
Hey, I'm Steph.
We're social impact strategists, colleagues, and friends who are on a mission to revolutionize the industry we love.
Today, there's a lot of virtue signaling, greenwashing, cause washing, or companies saying nothing out of fear of getting it wrong.
Whether it's a moment or a movement, it still has to be real. It has to be authentic and aligned with the brand, not just performative. It's about the action being taken that goes along with the messaging.
We're here to highlight who's doing it well, what could be better, and how companies can stop leaving money and the potential for real social change on the table.
On today's episode, we'll explore the latest campaigns from Stella Artois, Barbie, and Smartsheet. Before we get into it, let's do a quick review of our criteria.
Number 1, alignment.
Number 2, partnerships.
Number 3, call to action and transparency.
4, engagement.
And 5, optimization and amplification.
So we will get into it with our first case study on Stella Artois. Stella's latest ad titled Let's Do Dinner features celebrities Matt Damon, Zoe Saldana, Jeremy Allen White, and Ludacris, toasting Stella's, discussing who would make a great dinner guest, and inviting fans to the world's most fascinating dinner, supposedly in support of water.org in New York City. Really, really teeny tiny at the bottom of the spot. It has a call to water.org, but unless you really pause it and go back and try to find it, it's kind of hard to see. Honestly, it's a pretty simple spot. It's a little underwhelming creatively. It gets the message across regarding, building excitement for this dinner. And the focus of the spot really feels much more like it's about the dinner and less about water.org. Stella's looking to drive connection and conversation around the dinner table. And so this campaign goes along with their general overarching campaign about bringing people together to have conversation over great food with good friends. And of course, your Stella Artois. Naturally, as you do.
All right, great. So thanks for that summary, Alana. Let's get into our criteria. Talk to me about alignment. Is the impact aligned with Stella's brand values and goals?
Yes, the campaign is aligned with bringing people together and having a drink. Is it aligned with water.org as an organization? Seems a little off. The Let's Do Dinner campaign is meant to be celebrating this partnership, but at the same time, having a dinner party when you're trying to give people access to water seems a little counterintuitive. So I don't really know about that piece of the alignment. It's a little bougie seeming, especially with celebrities and bringing in these fascinating dinner guests. It kind of reminds me of that Greenpeace ad we were talking about a few weeks ago, where they were using the Fleetwood Mac's song to rally climate activists. And they had people kind of realizing while they're in this lush, amazing, incredible dinner experience that it was just ruining our planet and the world was on fire and the kitchen was on fire and all of the things, which ultimately led to a petition to sign because it was for Greenpeace. And that was a PSA. This, on the other hand, is just a celebration, a gathering, unless there's something we don't know about that's going to happen at said dinner party. Maybe there won't be any water there. I don't know.
That's the catch. Great. All right. Let's look at the talent influencer partnership. Obviously, a bunch of celebrities. What's the strength and alignment of the partnership?
Well, Matt Damon has now become the face of water.org as he is one of the co-founders. So there's a clear association there, and you kind of see him and know that these two go hand in hand. However, all these other celebrities seemingly have nothing to do with the organization. They're clearly just there to promote the dinner and not the nonprofit partnership. Obviously, missed opportunity for good here.
Ding,
would
ding,
love
ding.
to see them become brand ambassadors.
Everybody can get behind water.
Yes,
right,
access to water, daily human need. We can all agree that this is necessary.
Right. So speaking of the nonprofit partnership, the strength and alignment of the partnership, was there a donation or monetary investment? And is it a meaningful or impactful amount? Let's get into it.
Yeah, so Stella and water.org have been partners now since 2015. And
Yeah.
in that time, they've given safe water to more than 4.5 million people. So this is not a new partnership. It has been ongoing, and they've done some really interesting campaigns over the years to promote that partnership. This one's just a little wonky in terms of alignment, which makes it a little funky. It's unclear what the monetary investment is for this campaign, or honestly, even past campaigns. You can donate to water.org. It's building some semblance of awareness, but there's not much there. And for anyone who doesn't know about water.org, 1 in 10 people lack access to safe water. That's 771 million people. And 1.7 billion people, that's 1 in 4 people, lack access to a toilet. So this goes to show why this organization is so important, because they're doing incredible work, and why we just want to see them supporting them even more than they already are.
Absolutely. And so, along those same lines, follow through. This is clearly a long-term commitment, like you said, since 2015. Anything else to add to that?
Yeah, it's interesting that it did initially start as a short-term promotion and has grown into this multi-million-dollar, multi-year partnership, which I think also goes to show for brands who haven't really, picked a cause area or nonprofit that they would like to support, that you don't have to go big from day one. You can start small and gradually build and create a long-standing relationship and partnership where you continue to build on your existing donations, campaigns, interactions, relationships to continue to grow impact. So to not scare people away that you have to come in hard right at the beginning. And, they're starting to be known for this partnership, Stella is. So I think that's really important. And they've used their platform on a really large scale in the past through Super Bowl spots, short films, different things to gain more awareness.
That's great. All right. And let's talk about call to action. Is there a call to action? Is it obvious? Is it subtle? Is it actionable?
Well, the real call to action here is to sign up for their sweepstakes.
Right.
Which is you quickly found out is sign up to get a bunch of marketing emails from all sorts of different companies.
It was so stupid.
So there's no real call to action to donate or learn about water.org. I only hope that in that process, water.org is also going to get to send marketing emails to request donations, and they got looped into that cause if all these other brands are. But as of now, there's no real call to action to donate or engage with water.org. And the acknowledgement during the spot, as we mentioned, is so tiny that it's even hard to see that.
I guess that gets us into transparency. Is the messaging clear around the impact that Stella is trying to make or has made in the past?
I think with this campaign at the moment, it's very unclear. It's unclear if they're also making a donation as part of this campaign, if it's only tied to, I'm not sure what, because you can't donate in order to be part of the sweepstakes. So it's unclear kind of what the impact is as it relates to this specific campaign. In the past, they've had things where you can buy a special chalice that donates, and that's a very direct, buy this, donation is made. They do not, at the moment, have anything like that as part of this campaign.
Yeah, it was very upsetting to see that it looks like they just took that messaging away. And it's like, well, what's the point? If you're doing a water.org promotion, you would think this would be the time you would bring it back.
Yes.
What about cross-promotion? What sort of cross-promotion was utilized to increase the impact?
So at the moment, again, unclear. Doesn't seem like there's really anything, because the dinner sweepstakes page has water.org way down on the bottom. So we're not really sure how they're engaging and what the correlation is. There's no real call to action, as we mentioned.
And that also talks to visibility, right? Even though it's technically on the homepage, what's the path that you have to take to get there?
Yes. And on the same note about visibility, I know we're a little jumping around, but in terms of visibility, an interesting thing I noticed was that on the water.org page, the Stella partnership is listed pretty high. So it must be an impactful partnership for them, which means that there must be something impactful happening. So that's good to know that it is a meaningful partnership and they are doing the work, because not all nonprofits are acknowledging all their brands in that way. And they have a pretty deep section on Stella.
All right. So missed opportunities here. Let's make some recommendations for our value adds. What do you think?
Oh, yes. Well, since we have this wonderful contest to attend this fascinating dinner, what if the submissions, instead of just giving all your data away, required you to actually partake in some sort of an engaging activity that was related to water scarcity, water access, or an educational opportunity around water scarcity and water access for entry? A la Dig Deep's 4-liter challenge. If you don't know what that is, we will link to it in the show notes. You have to go 24 hours only using 4 liters of water. Try it. It's not easy.
Why not?
The amazing thing about that is if you do actually go through with that process, it really does make you rethink your relationship to water. And
1,000%.
If there was a different educational opportunity gave you different numbers of submissions. So if you took a water educational quiz, maybe you get X number of entries. If you did this challenge and posted about it on social media, you get X number of entries. And so kind of building education around the organization and what they're doing in order to get access to the dinner, I think would be a really cool opportunity for Stella and water.org.
Brilliant. I love that because, right, as we've talked about right now, it's just an email grab. That's it. And the minute you sign up, you get bombarded and spammed with about 45 of Stella's partners. And it's so obnoxious. And it would add so much value if there was some actual action being taken to raise awareness and to tie in this relationship with water.org. I think that's brilliant, Alana.
Even sharing or posting on social media images or facts that Stella and water.org can put together and share, like little media
co-branded images. Yeah.
That share information about the lack of water, its effect on education, on women's empowerment, on health and economic potential. And if you tag Stella and water.org, then you get submissions. There's so many ways to use this, both to educate consumers and educate their networks and expand the impact in a big way.
Bravo. And just quick shout out to Dig Deep and the 4 Liters Challenge, a former Love of Good client. I'm just so thrilled to see that they're doing all this amazing work and that you thought about them for added value. So thank you.
I have their sticker on my water bottle. Full circle. Okay, continue. What about you? What do you think about missed opportunity here?
So the only other thing that I was thinking about is, and we'll get into this later, but leveraging Charity Buzz as an auction platform, I think is great. So maybe people could bid on a autographed plate signed by the celebrities used during the most fascinating dinner party where all the proceeds goes back to water.org. Something to really tie the two together, because as we'll see in our next example, Charity Buzz really did come in handy and does a good job.
On that note, why don't you lead us into our next example, the one we can't get away from this summer?
Oh, Alana, I thought you'd never ask, because 10-year-old Stephanie is freaking out right now. In case you've been living under a rock, the hottest topic of the summer is, please, Barbie. You cannot go anywhere without seeing some sort of promotion for the film. It's a billboard, it's a trailer, it's 5 trailers. It's one of their 100 plus brand partnerships, according to the Wall Street Journal. Hashtag BarbieCore is alive and well, people. Barbie is back and everywhere. There's a Barbie Bubble Mint Whitening Toothpaste, a Barbie car, courtesy of Maserati, though let's be fair, she had a Corvette, people. Architectural Digest even got in on the fun with a tour of the Barbie mansion. Barbie and Ken showed up on Bumble. Aldo is making the ultimate Barbie shoes collection. Obviously, Progressive is the official insurance company of a quote-unquote secret client that lives in Malibu. And of course, all the lipsticks, perfumes, frozen yogurts, makeup lines, sneakers, and fashion, the list goes on. It's ad nauseum. But it was an Airbnb listing for an exclusive stay at Barbie's Malibu Dream House that really got the attention of me and Alana. Reservations opened on 7/17 and sold out within an hour. I was crushed. But what was interesting was that there was a little note that said, in celebration of Barbie hitting theaters on July 21st, and to honor girls' empowerment, Airbnb will be making a one-time donation to Save the Children. Pause. That felt a little out of left field, so of course, we got our sleuth caps on and we kept digging. And then we noticed that in celebration of the film's release, Warner Brothers Discovery actually released a PSA that features the star-studded Barbie cast announcing the launch of a global girls empowerment initiative that's in partnership with Mattel's Dream Gap project and Save the Children. So now this is a multifaceted campaign that will help girls around the world receive the learning, resources, and support they need to make their dreams a reality. Mic drop.
So let's dig into our criteria and see how impactful and integrated that piece of the campaign really is.
Absolutely.
Alignment. We're going to do this in terms of the general PSA portion with the overall campaign that the film has had in terms of all their marketing partners in mind for our viewers.
Absolutely.
Listeners. Alignment. Is the impact aligned with the brand values and goals?
So research has shown that by age 5, girls start developing self-limiting beliefs and stop believing they can do and be anything, right? We've found this in the Lego Play Unstoppable, in all of the other campaigns that we've talked about with girls' empowerment. And what this is defined as, it's called the Dream Gap. So in 2018, Mattel naturally launched the Dream Gap project. And this has since become an ongoing global initiative that gives girls the resources and support they need to continue to believe that they can actually do and be anything they want to be. And in fact, in 2019, Mattel established a fund with $250,000 to help close the dream gap for girls. Also, according to director Greta Gerwig and executive producer and star Margot Robbie, this film is more than a subtle nod to Barbie starting her new era as a feminist, owning her personal brand, and clearly owning all of the promotional partnerships that come along with that. So my take is that the brand is everywhere this summer, and alignment is best served with a side of the Dream Gap project.
I like it. How about this talent influencer partnership you speak of? What is the strength and alignment of the partnership with these amazing celebrities that are starring in the film?
Well, one could argue that Barbie herself, the icon, is also talent and influencer.
Barbie is 100% an influencer. She has her own vlogs and all sorts of videos that kids go crazy for in addition to her actual product. So continue.
Absolutely. But no, I mean, the cast coming together to talk about opportunities for empowering girls through the film's partnership with the Dream Gap Project and Save the Children, it's really touching. They do a good job. But did any of them make a donation? Did Warner Brothers make a donation in honor of the cast of Barbie? Or what was the deal with that? With the strike going on right now, I am certain that no actors or writers or crew were able to make a donation. But I would also love to be proven wrong on this point.
Nonprofit partnership, as you're speaking to donation, let's talk a little bit more about the strength and alignment of the partnership. As you were mentioning, we don't know necessarily about this donation or monetary investment. Any more thoughts on that?
Yeah, so they got really creative. I mean, kudos to the marketing team with various fundraising initiatives, including an in-show integration on HGTV's Barbie's Dreamhouse Challenge, which I love.
Check this out.
Oh, yes. And they tied in Save the Children because the winning design team will actually have a donation made to Save the Children on their behalf. So it's smart integrations like that. Yeah. And like we saw Swoon, which is an exclusive pink lemonade with Barbie, the sugar-free lemonade. Great story about the founder, but a percentage of the proceeds of that product is going to the Dream Gap project. So there are some smart partnerships that were being built around this integration, but really kind of upsetting that there weren't more. Another consumer activation, I know we had talked about Charity Buzz earlier. There is a Charity Buzz auction that features premiere tickets to the Los Angeles and London premieres of the movie, as well as other exciting auction items. When we were recording, that auction actually wasn't live, so I wonder if it goes live this weekend when the film premieres.
Yes,
We
excited to see
also
what they have on there.
Right, exactly. And then we also did some more digging into the actual partnership between Warner Brothers Discovery and Save the Children. And it turns out that Warner Brothers Discovery has supported Save the Children US for over 15 years. In 2020, they launched RISE, which is a global initiative which is focused on reducing inequality and supporting empowerment around the world by addressing social mobility through access to the most basic human needs. So obviously makes sense to bring all of these partners together.
Yeah, it sounds like it's Warner Brothers Discovery that brought in Save the Children, which then ties into Mattel's Barbie partnership with with the Dream Gap project, and so they all get to raise awareness and funds together, which is pretty awesome.
And play in the sandbox.
Play in the sandbox and share their toys. Follow through. Is this, I mean, we've spoken to this a bit, but is it a one-off donation or a long-term campaign? So much more here as well.
So much. The Dream Gap project is definitely ongoing. It's interesting that it only started in 2018. That was kind of a red flag. Like, come on, Mattel, you couldn't have figured this out sooner.
I remember when that started. In my brain, it was definitely longer ago, but I also remember when it was launched and those campaigns that came out, which is interesting. Right. What is time? With COVID, there's no time.
There is none. But specifically in 2020, Mattel did announce that they had a new commitment to dedicate additional resources to better understand how to help Black girls close the dream gap. And this year, Mattel is continuing to examine how all BIPOC girls who face challenges clearly beyond just gender stereotypes are affected differently by the dream gap. And they're identifying actionable solutions and establishing more partnerships with different charities who are working every day to help remove these barriers for girls. Current organizations that they are supporting include Inspiring Girls, Girls Right Now, Latinitas, Girls Leadership, and Girls Make Beats. Previously, they've supported Black Girls Code, She's the First, She Should Run, Step Up, and the NAACP. They've also created a whole teaching curriculum in conjunction with UCLA Center for Scholars and Storytellers that's all about teaching about the dream gap for girls and how that we can help to close that.
Sounds like they're doing a fair amount over there, Mattel.
I would say so. They have the resources to do it. So
yes. Call to action. Let's talk about the call to action for this one. It seems like it's a little different than for Stella.
Yeah. So unlike Stella, the call to action in the PSA was very obvious. Throughout, they have at the very bottom in Barbie font to donate, text Barbie to 707070. Doesn't get much clearer than that. Yeah.
Donate at 707070.
Text
Save
Barbie.
the children.
Yes. Save them all. So yeah, very clear call to action.
Transparency. Is the messaging clear about the impact that Mattel and Warner Brothers Discovery are planning to make and may have taken?
Yeah. So unfortunately, when it comes to all of these campaigns, the only way we'll have true transparency will be for Warner Brothers Discovery to make an announcement about all of the funds raised through this campaign and how they're being distributed. Maybe Save the Children comes out and makes, a supplemental piece of content thanking Warner Brothers and all of the film goers who made a donation, letting people know this is how we're going to spend the funds. But for the most part, we can just hope that it's going to the right place, I guess.
Ideally funded by Warner Brothers Discovery, because that would be lovely.
Right. Bingo. Nailed it.
Engagement. Were there opportunities for customers, community, employees to engage in this campaign?
Yeah, it's really fun to see how the promotional partners that are doing it right are incorporating in this nonprofit element, right? And some kind of call to action, like Airbnb, like Swoon, like with this charity buzz, all of these other cross-promotional opportunities that are incorporating a call to action for the cause. But for the most part, it's just asking for a donation and buy more Barbie shit. Sorry.
But if you're lucky, it's a great partnership that also will donate on your behalf. Visibility. In terms of the PSA, how visible is this PSA? I know I saw it for the first time on a LinkedIn post. What are your thoughts?
It's not easily found, which is a little frustrating.
Barbie movie opens with it.
Oh,
like at the beginning of the trailers. That would be kind of genius.
Well, shoot, girl, there's
missed opportunity. We won't know till this weekend.
That would be epic.
You're like thinking the movie is starting, and then really it's just a PSA.
Right?
Hi. Why not?
Yes. But
on that note,
so true.
Missed opportunity. True. Do you have any recommendations for a value add?
No,
We've covered a lot.
It's just like, look, they have 100+ partnership activations. How is it that only a handful of these decided, yeah, we dig the Mattel Dream Gap project and save the children, and so sure, we want to be a part of that too. Feels like missed opportunities for good across the board, that not each and every one of these partnerships have some sort of integration and call to action.
Yeah, it would be amazing to see that as part of the partnership deal, is that you have to integrate some form of donation.
Right.
Even if it's as simple as a 1% donation, but having something to show the importance of donating to these incredible causes and not just using Barbie's image and likeness. All right. Let's get
case study
into
number 3,
our
girl.
last campaign for today. Thank you for sticking with us. Smartsheet is a company that has gotten into the F1 hype, and they are a sponsor of the McLaren Formula One team. And as part of their campaign for their Formula One car, they created a campaign called Sponsor X, which has been going on since 2022. And it takes a little bit of a new approach to sponsoring an F1 team. They've taken their space on the car for the races, where it usually says Smartsheet on the front of the car. And for so far 3 races, they've given up their space to different nonprofits that they feel are game-changing in the work that they're doing, in hopes of creating a ripple effect of impact worldwide. So if you have not seen F1, it's really fun and exciting. I've been to races myself. But anyways, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. But it is a hugely growing sport, especially in America. It's been big everywhere else for a while. But I think it's getting even more attention now here. So this is kind of a very cool partnership in the sense that nobody's really done anything like this before. So bringing nonprofits to that stage is an interesting angle. The latest partnership was for the 2023 British Grand Prix. And they gave their spot to a UK-based STEAM Co., which is an organization that champions creativity for children. And just a quick little summary, some of the past nonprofits they've given to include the Hidden Genius Project, which is a US-based nonprofit. This was last October at the Austin Grand Prix. And the Hidden Genius Project trains and mentors Black male youth in technology creation, entrepreneurship, and leadership skills. Deadly Science in Australia was the nonprofit in April of 2022. And Deadly Science has a mission to provide STEM resources and mentorship to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander youth. So a diverse range, very local to where these races are taking place. Very cool.
There's only one other time that I've seen a similar approach taken. And there's actually a steel company in Chicago called Magellan. And they were brilliant. They had they're big supporters of a lot of local sports teams. And instead of having the Magellan brand everywhere, they use their real estate in the arena to support local nonprofits and give them the real estate. So I love this trend, and I think this is hopefully one of many that we'll be seeing moving forward.
Absolutely. Let's get into our criteria. We can talk a little bit more about this campaign and what we think about it.
Great. So alignment, I think, is definitely there. All of the nonprofits are STEM related nonprofits. So really focusing on creativity, problem solving, exploration, and tying back into the power of the engineers who make the races happen. It's really smart.
Absolutely. In terms of partnerships, specifically for this UK partnership, STEAM Co. inspires children and ignites creativity. They're nurturing the next generation of innovators and problem solvers. They integrate science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, so all elements of STEAM, obviously. It's really a great partnership, drawing a connection between skills in STEAM and racing cars, and that there's a lot of science that goes into being able to race a car effectively and well on many levels. So just a cool way to learn about those subjects, right? And then talent-wise, there's some great talent partnerships, obviously, that come along with the McLaren car. The drivers Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo both talk in the spot about this campaign. And I've only watched a handful of F1 races, and I am very familiar with both those drivers. So they are very well-known names. And so they really happen to sponsor the right car with the right talent attached to it to really be able to get this message out there in various ways.
I love it. With call to action and transparency, there are website links to STEAM's webpage and social links to learn more, to donate, how to support, all that other good stuff. Previous donate tabs to how to support other nonprofits that are STEAM and STEM related. However, it's still unclear if Smartsheet and F1 are donating more than just the real estate on their cars. That we don't know.
Yes. But I will say we've experiences in the past where we've looked up these nonprofits and they don't even have links to those on their websites. From the brand sponsorship side, they don't have the nonprofits available, easily accessible. So the fact that they have so many links, it's not even just their website, it's all their social channels. They're really trying to push you to engage more with these organizations. It's very cool.
Absolutely.
Engagement. This was an interesting prompt on their website for Smartsheet. They have a prompt to join the Sponsor X community. I got excited. I wanted to know what this is. I went there. I'm still a little unclear. You can unlock a STEAM Co badge by answering the question, why is creativity important? Great prompt. Really interesting conversation. Not sure what that badge is used for. Not sure who's actually using this community. Does that go onto your social channel? I'm not really sure. But I think hopefully there's more ways where they're prompting conversations like this because it is a really interesting question. And on that note, because this was shared as a case study within Smartsheet's website, we do have some interesting information on the back end of the engagement that they experienced. They noted that they had a really impactful internal engagement. Their employees were excited to share their work. They were sharing this initiative with their friends and family and peers, sending them to the nonprofit web pages and engaging them in these campaigns. One of their employees even told them that they'd never felt more connected to the company or her work. What more could we ask for as employers? It's also had a big impact on recruiting. They said that it's helping them with marketing professionals in their hiring cycle, where they're finding people very interested suddenly in working with them. So it's actually having a big impact beyond the impact on the nonprofit. It's just showing that there's a business case for this as well. So it's great that they were sharing that information.
Yeah, that's tremendous. And lastly, optimization and amplification. The 2022 campaign response was that they had 7.4 million social media engagements, 1.6 billion earned media reach, and 99% positive consumer sentiment around this campaign. They quadrupled their goal for new social followers for the Hidden Genius project, which is fantastic for awareness. 400% increase in funding for deadly science.
That's
That
huge.
is huge. That is huge.
It's amazing.
That is just a perfect example of the KPIs that are measuring how you do good.
Absolutely. And I will say one other note that I think is interesting is that Smartsheet used their funding to produce these assets and videos for Deadly Science and Hidden Genius Project, which helped build awareness and give them great, well-shot content to utilize, which sometimes for nonprofits, especially ones that don't have the funding access tools to spend on that, can be really meaningful because it helps them with their marketing and their exposure to draw in additional funds. So I think that is a very cool benefit that they're sharing with the nonprofits as well.
It's super smart. All right, so let's wrap this up, Alana. What's been the main theme of all of these? What's our through line throughout this episode?
We talked a lot about talent today. Celebrities, influencers, athletes. Some make better use of the star power than others, but I think it just goes to show that talent can really help elevate and amplify a campaign, and knowing how and when to utilize them is really important, especially when they are aligned with the cause that you're working to support.
Absolutely. And I think this quote we found from Andrew Bennett, who's Smartsheet's CMO, really wraps everything up nicely. He says, at the end of the day, I think what matters in purpose-driven marketing and marketing in general is being clear about what your values are. When you act consistently based on those values, everything else is easy.
Love that. And on that note,
thank you for listening. Let's shine a light and learn from those who are doing it well and reduce the missed opportunities for good.
We want to hear from you. Let us know. What campaigns are you seeing that are doing it well? Who would you like to see us interview? What was the missed opportunity in the Smartsheet F1 McLaren sponsorship? And what campaign would you like us to audit?
Thank you so much for your support and joining us on our mission to revolutionize the industry that we love.